Hello everyone, this is the Grotesque Dino here for the 10th installment of my review series. And today I got a special treat. I finally gotten my New York Central Dreyfuss Hudson number 5454 just yesterday, and I did a small video just at breaking in the motor and forward and reverse, but it was mainly just forward. And I have to say this is a very handsome model. If you don't have the new one and have the old one, there's some slight differences. One is that it's got a new decoder on the box, which I'll show right here. Brass Hybrid Paragon4 series. It says, you say down there, FCC ID 2AEZ2 Paragon3 CEO 700. It says Paragon4, but I'm not sure if Paragon 4 is really just Paragon 3 with some add-ons. Now, what's interesting is that it does have a keep alive. I'm not sure how variable I can make the keep alive last longer, because I definitely want it to last longer, especially if I want to run it on my club. This is my K4S Streamline from 1938 that Broadway also made last year that they shipped out. And this engine had gotten a new board recently too, like last week or so. And interesting enough, it does have a keep alive, so when I pick it up and put it on the ground, it doesn't, it keeps the sounds moving, although the light does turn off, which is, I guess, kind of a shame. I'm not sure about it moving still when I take it off. I'm not sure if the capacitor is that powerful. I don't know. I have to check the settings for that decoder. Or I'll have to look up, see if both of these decoders are the same, but just with different programs in it, obviously, because these are different railroads with different engines. So that's just an interesting thing. So there is a keep alive. I did make a post on Facebook on the BLI group saying, you know, because I watched the video on there and the guy picked it off and the thing just stopped making sound already. It's like, well, that doesn't seem right. It's Paragon. It's supposed to have Paragon 4 in it, and I'm guessing halfway through production they were switching to Paragon 4. Although on the box, just as I showed earlier, it doesn't seem to really have that. It has a Paragon 3 modified, is what it is. Do I know for sure 100%? Not really. But I have the operator's manual right here. Paragon 4, basically Paragon 3 with the same dark green lacquer enamel color. Kind of like with the Pensy stuff. And it does talk about a lot of CV stuff near the back of the, for the function keys and the, not really just function keys, but the CVs around here. I think they do have what they talked about with, like, you know, controlling like the lights and whatnot. I think it's earlier in this, but they do have some of those extra features that they were talking about when they're talking about Paragon 4. I'm not going to really fiddle with these because getting my controller to just switch over to programming takes a bit of a time. I have to unplug it, basically turn it off, and then I got to unplug my rail leads for power and ground to the program track, and that takes some time. And fortunately enough, I'll have to use the booklet and I'll have to skim through that, so we'll look at the sounds over there. And as usual, we're not going to do the last two. Or no, not the last two. Well, close to last two. The last one I don't really mess with anyways. The brake squeal. Because it does that anyways when I come to a sudden stop. But yeah, this is the manual. I'm pretty sure you can look it up online. See what the same thing on here. This is where your function stuff is. There's some more CV values that you can change. Some other stuff that they talk about, and the usual stuff. This engine is already connected inside the box. It's short enough. It's probably the same exact size as my K4S box. Again, a limited 1-year warranty. And there's the stuff to control the functions and the features. And this is the blown up diagram. That motor over there it's definitely some sort of a one-sided can motor with a flywheel. I'm guessing it's a 5-pole motor, since a lot of the Paragon 4 engines are going to have 5-pole motors now. Now that they're saying, if you go on Chain World, for example, it says 5-pole motors now, which this is the 21st century. We're 2 decades in. I know at the beginning they still had 3-pole motors of the 21st century, but we gotta get those 5-pole skew wounds going. We're trying to push the latest in technology here, but I understand that there has to be some cost cut. But when it comes to a model like that, this brass model, for example, no holds barred. It's got a brass worm gear in there, obviously. So this has got a really silent drive to it. Most of these parts are probably brass. I'm not sure about the running gear. The skull and disc drivers are just amazing. I really like that. The front pilot wheels, I believe I discussed earlier, they're painted to be that dark gray color like the real engine, which I think is, again, one of the better things about this engine over the original one. To each their own what they believe. I just think it makes it look more accurate. This is the 1940s paint scheme, obviously, because it doesn't have has a light gray or white, whatever you say, dual stripes. The 1938 had the blue stripes, and I'm pretty sure many people have been talking about, the 1938 had the streamlining covering this air tank right here, or I don't know if it's a preheater. I heard something about preheating or an air tank. I'm not 100% on what steam engines do, but I'll work on it in the future. And then 1930 had this full cowl here, and you wouldn't see the air pumps over there, which is an interesting place to put the air pumps. It hides them. They're not the ugliest things in the world, but they hide them pretty well. And in 1940, they're like, let's take some more streamlining off so we have better maintenance. And I have to say, even with some more streamlining off, it still looks like a very beautiful streamlined steam engine. It's a J3A Super Hudson. And this is pretty much the top of the technology when it comes to New York Central, although the tender doesn't have the PT tender with that huge coal bunker and the centipede-like wheels. Although I prefer this tender more personally. I like the full skirted look compared to that PT tender. I would probably have that instead for my if I had unstreamlined Hudsons. I'd probably get that for those. Who knows? Maybe Broadway might do Paragon 4 finally for those Hudsons. It's been a very long time since they did a Hudson. I wonder if they still have the blueprints. Here's a tender. Got your main shell. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the separately applied details for that tender. Here's the board. It's got a big bubble in the rear. It's probably the huge capacitor. Here's your coupler. Here's your speakers. Here's your trucks. Pretty much it. I got this yesterday. And it's interesting because I've seen a lot of review videos and some photos and some other stuff, and everyone seems to gotten number 5454. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. I just find it interesting. It's the last Hudson that New York Central made, number 5454, and I like this engine because I'm kind of weird. I like numbers 3, 6, and 9, so I try to get engines that have that. If I don't, it's not really a big deal. But if you add 54 and then 54 together, it'll be 99, and then 99 plus well, 9 plus 9 equals what? 18, and then it goes down to 9 if you reduce the numerical value to its lowest denominator. It's weird. I just like numbers like that. Don't ask. I was a huge Tesla fanatic. Not the car company, but Nikola Tesla, one of the great geniuses. The streamlining and the look of this engine is just amazing. It's just filled with detail. There's the air pumps behind that front pilot cowl, and you can see it through the side where the steps are. And there's some minor detail right here. I don't know what that is, but I'm not gonna mess with that. Cylinders are amazing. I like that chrome or metallic look, similar to how these wheels are painted. Well, this is chrome. I don't know why I'm calling that chrome, but it's got that silvery satin look. Same with the wheels. I've seen someone on Borwood Limited's Collectors Club had a brass one, and the wheels are colored brass. I'm not sure if the wheels were brass themselves, but the drive wheels were colored brass like the rest of the locomotive. I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool, but to have a golden engine, you need golden cars, well, even though it's brass colored. But again, there's some back detail. I'm pretty sure the CNO engine has something like this. A lot of steam engines have that. I know my Q2 has that. I'm not 100% sure what it was. I forgot the name. My buddy Charles was doing stuff about that earlier, and he was telling me some stuff of what parts of the steam engine are. I forgot to know what that piece is. It looks like that thing from Star Wars again, where the R2D2 got sucked up through the sandcrawler. Some more piping details. Is a rear truck, and if you watched Trainman 440's video, he talks about how the rear truck was powered not always, but it was powered for low speed, because this is a high speed runner. This engine was designed for high speed, and it just didn't have enough torque at low speed. So it had this I don't know if it was like a gear drive or whatever it was, but it doesn't have it, obviously. But this big wheel back gear would help. Well, it's not that big compared to the drivers, but it was just big enough to be used as a power wheel to help the steam engine be more efficient at lower speeds. It was not 100% more efficient, but who knows? I don't have the exact numbers. This is a special truck, right? A special wheel part right here, the truck piece. I'm pretty sure it's the same on the same side. Some people are like, well, that's not accurate with this thing. I don't really care. It still looks good. Again, I'm looking at this engine like, this is a Dreyfuss Hudson, okay? And some people are like, why did you get the Rivarossi? Well, the Rivarossi, well, it does look good. It just doesn't look good as this. There's some warning plate details that say, danger, keep off. This is not, for you to mess with. There's a light in there. Can't really get in there. Maybe like there. And you can see through the top. Light should be going through there because that's a hole. And again, brass is just amazing when it comes to how thin you can make the pieces, but still have that structural rigidity and not be like brittle. There's your coal load. Coal load looks good. It doesn't have those flaps like the real model. And MTH does have the flaps, although they just move back and forth. They don't slide over. I think that would be a little bit difficult. And they would break easily. But, yeah, it's got the whistle, pop-up valves on the top, smoke generator. It has this grill at the front on the top, and that Spartan helmet look at the front with that crest. I mean, when you see that thing coming straight at you from away at a good speed, it looks almost hypnotizing, seeing that bullet nose with the Spartan crest, Spartan helmet crest coming at you. It's an interesting look. And you see the rest of the train go by. It's really a pretty engine. So I heard some people say the Dreyfuss Hudson's probably like the best looking streamlined steam engine ever made. I wouldn't doubt them for anything. So that's the look of it. I mean, on the other side, I could probably pick it up, but I have to put my phone down. Unfortunately, I don't have a stand yet. I was thinking about making a stand out of Legos and whatnot so that the camera would just stay put like that. But, man, I was too lazy. So, give me a moment. I'll take a look at the other side. Get the look at my screwdrivers at the moment. Now, for some reason, when I take it off, while it's not even activated, it plays the startup sequence, the long startup sequence. I'm not sure why. It's kind of weird. Is it a real pain? Not really. I just find it odd. I don't know if anybody else knows that too. I think also when I turn off the power, but I don't think so. I don't really remember that. We could test that later. But that's the other side. I saw some smudge on the other side. It's not that bad. I could probably just rub it off with my finger. And my finger oil will probably get whatever that was out, but you can barely see it. Paint job's really good. I don't see anything out of place. There's some more asymmetrical piping on the outside. I mean, even though this is a streamlined engine, you even if you saw this piping, you'd be like, that still looks streamlined. I mean, it's just I guess it hides it by just having it the same color as the engine. I mean, it hides it really well, that the exterior details that usually steam has without streamlining. I don't think these vents open now. That's a shame, but that's okay. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not gonna be that picky. I usually don't have the vents open anyways on my engines, because they don't really go through tunnels. I guess I don't know. I guess for venting, it's just like it gets hot in there. It's like I gotta let the heat rise out, you know. Some more piping details. There's another air tank on this side, in the front. The bell must be somewhere in the cowl, in the front of the pilot. Again, same color, dark gray pilot wheels. Those beautiful skull and disc drivers. It's got the same piping work on this side. Step ladders. Now, the where it is right now, the closeness, it's not super close like the real thing, but it's basically the second peg. This has basically got that same peg setup as every other steam engine besides the K4 has for some reason. I don't know why the K4 has such a unique connecting system, but what are you going to do? Although I would like to say BLI, why don't you make all your steam engines have like that snap-on thing for your like on your KO4? Why don't you put on every engine? That would make it easier instead of just having some pin and socket or pin and hole kind of a thing that they've been doing for a really long time. Again, same details. This is the same warning sign. The grab irons are just amazing. And yeah, well, I'm gonna put my phone down again. I didn't put any passenger cars on here because all of my stuff is really Pennsylvania, and I don't want to piss too many people off seeing the New York Central pulling Pennsylvania coaches. I mean, I'll probably pull this reefer, but maybe I can piss some people off for some small fun, not for deliberate fun, but for some small fun. I'm gonna have the engine turn around. I'm gonna turn off the power first, just in case any shorts happen. This is a brand new engine, so I don't want any issues. Yeah, there is a small smudge. I don't know what it is, but probably if I rubbed it enough, it would go away. But it's not a big eyesore. You can barely see it. I'm not sure what it is. There's no brass showing through, so I'm not sure if it's a paint error or what. But Alright, all wheels are on the track. There we go. She's ready to go. And let me get this car over there too. I'm really stretching myself to get this on here. There we go. Alright. There you go. There's your contest for today. The one reefer car. So let's start this engine up, power up the track. Track's powered. Do a startup sequence. There's your smoke. I'm going to turn it off. I know people like the smoke sometimes, but it smells like smoke. It smells like Lionel smoke. Turn on the headlight. Lights are on. Like that white look to that headlight. It's not too white that it doesn't look realistic, but it's good enough. It's got a little bit of yellow on it. So currently I have the alternative whistle on. I feel like that fits the engine more. Some people are like, well, that doesn't sound correct. Look, it's New York Central. This is a New York Central whistle. I like the higher pitch New York Central 5-chime/6 chime. I'm not sure which one it is, but I heard both of them, and they both sound very similar. But some people are going to argue about that, but they sound really good. And when I think of an express passenger train, I think of this whistle. It's just a nice whistle. I mean, when you hear it in real life, I'm not sure if the video caught it, but like the tender's insulation of sound makes it rattle a bit, but it doesn't really bother me that much. It's not too bad. But I guess it gives it some like a presence to it, maybe. If not, I could probably fix it. I don't know if I'll add some foam or something around it. Maybe not have it rattle around inside that brass can. So, let's get into the functions. Let me get my function page. Yes, we got to do this first. Function 1 is the bell. I like the bell. I'm not sure if it's New York Central or not, but that's okay. I like it. We did function 2, but we're going to do it again because I like this whistle so much. F3's rear light on, but it's actually, excuse me. Well, this is pro mode actually. Oh shoot. Anyways, well, let's forget about that. Oh, I had it on the wrong side. I had pro mode on the back side. Look at this. I just did not realize that. This is pro mode. Very interesting. I'm not in pro mode. I'm not sure if I'm going to really do that. I'll have to take me some time to do that, and I don't want to make this video too long. I have to make a part 2, so I'll probably do that some other time, or maybe somebody else will do that. The coupler, which we did, air pump, F5's blowdown, F6 is water fill, chuff volume, decreases. F7 press the smoke off. F8's master volume or mute. F10 is shovel coal auger. F11's ejector. F12 is brake set, brake release. F13 is grade crossing whistle. Not sure I really like that, but I like to have control with the whistle myself. I just like how you can just like if your train is like about to hit something, you're trying to warn somebody, you're just blaring that whistle, just pulling and tugging that cord as many times as you can. You just flutter that whistle. This engine, you can't do that, and it does sound like a video that I once heard where the guy's just whistling that thing to hell, like he's trying to tell somebody, like, get off the tracks or something. F14's passenger sounds, which is the proper sounds for this engine. F15's yard radio chatter. The maintenance facility sounds. Don't need too many sounds going off. I'm gonna probably turn off the yard radio. Well, I don't really need yard radio chatter, but I could probably use that. I'm gonna turn off F16. F-17's crew radio messages. Definitely gonna probably keep that on. F-18's crew chatter city setting. I usually hear that in yard radio chatter anyways. Farm setting. I can barely understand what they're saying with that one. So my new favorites is industrial sounds. I can't hear it because that injector is as loud as hell. I'm gonna turn off that injector. Oh, it's not the injector. It's the blowdown. I'm sorry. Still filling water. It's different than Paragon4 after all, guys. Usually it does that for a little bit and then it stops, and then when your engine stops after a while, it does whatever. Got whistle toggle, which if we go back to F2, sounds like the Lionel Legacy J3A that they came out with, I don't know how long ago, but I guess fairly recently, a couple of years ago, and I like it. But I would put that on a regular J3A, because when I hear this graceful engine, I want to hear this. So I'm gonna keep it like that. F23's track sounds. Just, I guess when the engine moves, it'll do the clickety clack. F24 is not used on this model. F25 is long whistle. Macro playback for custom sounds, and F27's more custom sounds. So we're gonna start this up. Now I have broken this engine in 15 minutes forward, 15 minutes backwards. It seems to be doing well. I could say before it was really stuttery, but I think after running a bit, it's not as stuttery as it was before. Although I can tell that it's jittering just a bit. I hear some squeaking. Not sure if there's anything wrong with the oil, but I might have to lubricate it. I want to go faster, see how fast we can go. I have a really wide curve radius, so these trains can go flying. Now I never take them up to past 5. any of my engines, but we're going to go to maybe 4.5. We're at 4.5 now. That's really pacing. That's probably around, I don't even know, maybe like 80 miles per hour. Because that's definitely flying. That's a lot faster than I've seen my trains at the club usually go. They go around 50 or 60, but this is pretty much flying. And the keep live is doing its job. Usually a Paragon 3 would just stop dead back there, even though I do clean my track. I don't clean it like every single time I do a running session, but I'll clean it every other running session or every third running session. We're going to slow down now. Slowing down. It's not working as hard. Definitely need some light lubricant, just some small. I don't know where it is. I don't think it's on the gear. I think it's on what their pistons are. Because I don't hear it where the wheels are. Oh yeah, this is that special whistle you do when you hold down F2 and then quickly press it again. Again, I really like that whistle. Let it speed up a bit again just to try and make it catch up around. And there you go, you got it. Being a little bit stiff and jerky, but as soon as she goes to low speed, she's taking it fine. And there you go. Well, this is again, Grotesque Dynos doing a review with this Dreyfuss Hudson. I have to say it's a very solid locomotive, and I'm pretty sure it's going to bring many years to come with joy. I hope that Scale Trains does make those passenger cars that will match with this locomotive. Scale Trains, look at this. If you're watching somehow, look at that. Look at those stripes. See if you can match that the same height. There's a Walters car right there, so when you make your passenger cars